We're going to create a budget based on the jobs that you've selected. In order to help us with our budget, I'm going to use this pie chart. This was based off of a website search for average family expenses, and it has information on the type of expense, for example, food, as well as the percentage of the family budget that is spent on that on average. So we're going to use that information to create our budget. I'm going to start by typing in the items and the percents based on this pie chart. I'm going to start here at the food and work my way around. You should do the same. Food, tab over 15%. Just be careful that only one percentage is coming up. Rent, 6%. And you can continue on doing that. All right, I just reached clothing. I'm going to move over to this side and go up and around. So today you're going to work on creating a budget based on your job. And what we're going to use is this pie chart that I just got off of the internet. It's based on the family averages for the budget they use on different items. The items are listed here. For example, food. The average family would spend about 15% of what they make on food, and that's reflected here. It's also reflected in these items. Now, you'll notice that mine is already filled in. Yours is blank. Here's how you're going to fill it in. Very simply, you type the item, and then you type in the percent that it says here, the number, and then shift and the percent sign to give you that percent on there. And you're going to go ahead and fill it in clockwise. So after food comes rent, utilities, clothing, personal care, and just go up and around, fill in those two items, and then come back to the video. Now we're going to work on doing our equations that we need in order to create our budget. We've learned from working on past Google Sheets examples that in order to do an equation, you click on the cell you want. So I clicked on this, and then I come up here, and I'm going to type in my equation. It always starts with an equal sign, the word sum, and a parenthesis. Now on this, I'm going to decide what numbers I need in order to figure out how much I should spend per month on that item. This right here, this B1, is where I'm going to be entering the yearly wage for the different jobs that I pick. So I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to divide it by 12 because there's 12 months in a year. So this was the amount that you would spend in a year divided by 12 to get the month. I'll close the parentheses and then use the asterisk to mean multiply, and I'm going to multiply it by the percentage right next to it. So I'm multiplying this one by 15% because that's how much the food is. And when I press enter, it'll give me the number. So now let's see if it worked. I'm going to put in $100,000 here. Say your yearly wage is $100,000. That means that your budget is 15%, which would give you $1,250 a month that you can spend on food. Now I'm going to use the same equation and scroll all the way down. But I can look here and I can say, okay, something's wrong. So I'm going to look at the next cell, and if I look at the equation, you can see that it says B2, and B2 doesn't have my yearly wage in it. So I pulled it down and it just shifted everything down, and I need to go now and I need to make the corrections. So every time that I click on that, I want it to go back to B1, and that'll show that it's at the correct yearly wage. And I'm going to do that for each and every one of these cells. You should do the same. Just pressing one, and then I'm pressing enter, and that's going down automatically to the next tab. So if you've input your equation correctly, then your results are going to look like this. Now, I don't like that it shows so many decimal points, so I'm going to only make it look like money. I'm going to highlight this whole thing and take this decrease decimal places and bring it down. So now we have the amount in dollars. If I wanted to go ahead further and mess around with that and make it maybe 2 decimal places, or I could try to make it currency at, there it goes, it looks like money. So again, I clicked on that and I made it look like money. Now, I'm not only going to ask you to do this monthly budget, I'm going to also ask you to do it for a week. So here's what the week looks like. You're going to start with the equal sign, the sum, the parentheses, and click on B1 because that's your starting salary. Now, there's 52 weeks in a year, so I'm going to divide it by 52. And then I will multiply it again by the percentage on that line and press enter. I don't want to have to retype the equation over and over again, so I'm going to click here and pull it all the way down, and then go back and change all of these B cells back to the salary, back to B1. Okay, once you have that all in place, we'll go ahead and change it again to a currency. So stay tuned to watch how you do it with that. So I've input all that, everything is now correct, it looks correct. I'm going to change it to a currency. I click on the letter so the whole column is highlighted. I go here, click on currency, and it has it back down to money. Okay, now I'd like you to type in this. Amount for an apartment. Now, apartments are able to be rented on a monthly basis. So let's assume that you are in a place that you need to rent. So you're going to find the amount of rent for an apartment that you can spend on a month, and that's the amount that you're going to do. So I want to make this always equal to this cell. And in order to do that, I'm going to click here, write the equation, write sum, even though I'm not adding anything. Click on that, close the parenthesis, and now whatever my salary is,